I've seen it and I remember it, but I didn't watch it regularly.
Not the mama.
I didn't. I'll tell you, man. There was a. I think that era is where the difference in our age shows the most, because you were like into that. You were a lot younger than me at that point, and I was like already like in high school and out of high school and off
I
doing
learned
shit.
my life lessons from Danny Tanner.
See, I didn't watch the Full House, none of that shit.
I always wondered why when my mom and dad would sit down and have a talk with me, violin music wasn't playing in the background. I'm like, but
that shit was just too fucking white bread, boring garbage to me. I couldn't take it.
I wanted Urkel to show up and help me with my science fair project. You know, I always wanted to be the smart kid like Michael J. Fox on Family Ties. And I wondered why I didn't have a puppet alien constantly trying to eat the cat. Why?
The Alf was something I did. Alf was the 80s. That's when I was a kid.
Man, dude, Alf was
the
awesome.
stuff in the 80s is like when I was a kid. I was born in '75, so like my era of like that kind of family TV shit was all like the 80s stuff, like Alf and shit like that.
She was born on a cold and gray Chicago morn. Another little baby child was born in the ghetto.
So
see, I grew up
like
with
Dynasty and fucking Dallas and shit like that was on. And
yeah, then you found out the whole season was a dream.
Who Shot J? I remember going to school with kids actually wearing Who Shot JR shirts.
Patrick Duffy's in the shower. Hey, how's it going? Good morning.
He's always the man from Atlantis.
Don't you wish you would just wake up one morning, go in your bathroom, and there's Patrick Duffy in your shower?
No, I would be terrified and appalled, unless he was wearing the little shorts and had the webbed hands and feet like Man from Atlantis, and he was just trying to hydrate because he was an Atlantean that needed the water. Then I would be like, yes, Man from Atlantis, use my shower until we can get to use the ocean.
Why don't I have...
But if it was just regular Patrick Duffy, no, I'd be mortified.
You know what show I loved and then they fucked it up royalty? I loved Sequest, DSV.
Hey, that kid on there killed himself, I think.
He did, Jonathan Brandis. What was good about that show, like the first season was
Roy
good.
Scheider, another Roy Scheider.
And Peter DeLuise was on it.
Callback City.
Yeah. Segue. But no, they had the good season, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, they got abducted by aliens for like a couple of years, and now came back, and the world's all different. I'm like, what the fuck? No, don't. We had a talking fucking dolphin on that damn show.
Yeah, I didn't really watch it because once again I was out a lot in my teenage years, but my dad was a huge fan of Sequest. He loved that show. And he was upset when it got canceled, as a matter of fact. He actually loved it and was really pissed off.
At the end of every show, dude, they would talk about wildlife and sea conservation, man.
So, it's important.
And then and then Roy Scheider said, fuck it, I'm out. And then they kept doing the show with like a new captain, but Roy Scheider is now like this like Jimmy Buffett like guy living on an island. Cheeseburger in paradise, baby.
Poor. Like I said the other day, the only person left on my people to call about shark shit list is Richard Dreyfuss. He's the only guy on there.
He's the only guy left alive.
Quinn's dead. Scheider's dead. There's nobody left to call.
No. I can't even call the Ghostbusters anymore.
Nope. One of them's gone too.
One of them's gone. One of them doesn't care, and the other two are doing whatever. I saw something. Yeah. I watched like a documentary or something where Dan Aykroyd was like the narrator. What was it? What did I watch? That it was like the narrator. I watched some documentary on Netflix. I'm always watching documentaries. I made my kids sit down the other day and watch an hour-and-a-half documentary on the Greek gods. As I can.
On what?
On Greek gods.
Greek gods. Well, yeah, that's kind of cool.
Dude, I love the stories of the ancient
I watched
Greeks.
a documentary on Netflix about Russian prisons, man, and you don't want to fuck around and go to one of those.
Did you ever watch true stories of the ER, like true untold stories of the ER?
No. I you know what? Anything that's got like, if it's a medical reenactment, that's fine. But any of those shows that show real surgery, fuck that.
No. This is a real surgery. No, these are like reenactment. There is one. This dude comes in and he's got like this blanket over him. So the nurse takes him back and they take the blanket off, and the dude has a camp stove on his dick. And they ask him, the guy's like, all like, hey. They're like, what happened? He's like, so like my girl and I, we got high and we started having sex, and she looked at the camp stove and said, why don't you stick your dick in there? So I was like, all right. So the poor nurse, the nurse is running to every other nurse in the hospital saying, will you please take this patient? I can't do it. And they're like, no. So they're like, all right, we got to get this camp stove off. So first they call like the maintenance man of the hospital. He's like this old, like 65-year-old man. He comes in, he sees the dude's dick, this camp stove on this dude's junk, and he passes out. So then they're like,
no way, this didn't happen.
Dude, it's on Netflix. True, Untold Story of ER. Watch it. So then they call the fire department, and this fire department guy shows up, and he passes out. He's like, I can't do this. So they finally call this one doctor in, and he had to take these 2 needles and stick them through the camp stove into the man's freaking hog to drain the blood so it would not be as swollen, so they could take the camp stove off. And then at the end of the episode, the nurse puts the camp stove in the hazardous materials bin.
Yeah, put the more you know thing on it.
Oh, dude, I was dying. And then there's like all the ones where
the more you know.
There was one, this dude shows up and he's acting like he like can't talk, like he had a seizure or something. And his wife's there, and then another girl shows up, and it's his girlfriend, and then this other girl shows up, and it's his other girlfriend, and they find out he never had a seizure or anything to begin with. He was lying because he didn't want to get in trouble with his wife and girlfriends, and oh, dude, they are hilarious, dude. I die. I'm just like, bah, The moral of today's Renegades, kids: do not put your little hoo-ha dilly in a camp stove.
Yeah, don't do that, and don't have multiple girlfriends when you're married.
Oh, yeah. As the great Groucho Marx once said, here's to our wives and girlfriends, may they never meet.
So anyway, yesterday I went and saw It and at the movies, and I can report that it is a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
Waha, 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 waha.
So I would...
No weird Tim Curry laugh?
No, that guy that plays Pennywise, the online pictures don't do that Pennywise justice, because in the movie
he's a lot creepier.
It's a lot creepier, and it makes a little more sense to me because he's got these big like buck teeth. He's got big weird like cartoony like rabbit teeth, and his head's kind of bigger than a normal person's, and he looks kind of weird. But to the kids, he appears like really cartoony. He's like almost cartoony. He's got big, like rabbity, goofy looking teeth, and he has this silly voice. But when they get close, he gets like really dark and sinister, and like it's really creepy. And it's effective in the movie. It's just when they put those pictures online, I think that to me was killing it. I thought there's no way that's gonna seem scary, but no, they did a pretty good job. The Pennywise is pretty convincing and good in the movie when you actually see it.
Yes, Georgie, we float. It all floats, Georgie.
He doesn't go that route with it. He goes more like silly cartoony voice, and then he gets just more like real serious. And it's pretty effective and creepy.
Like Margaret Periwinkle?
I think, yeah, it kind of, and it kind of conveys more. I think the guy actually did it. Honestly, in my opinion, the guy actually did a better job than Tim Curry, because I think he conveys the character of Pennywise more with his voice and his acting than the makeup shows. I think because he's funny and silly at first and lures Georgie in, and then the closer he gets, like the darker and creepier he starts to seem. And he starts to like back away a little bit more from the grate as the kid gets closer, like drawing him in closer, so the kid will bend down further and look in the sewer grate. And it's really convincing. He does a really good job. He conveys Pennywise, I think, better the way the book does more than what Tim Curry did, I think. And
that's Bill Skarsgård. That's one of the Skarsgårds.
Yeah, he's really good, and I thought it was pretty good. And I thought that overall it was a pretty damn good adaptation, really. I mean, but like I said, this was part one. Part two is where we start to find out about the cosmic aspects of it and where it comes from, and its antithesis, the space turtle in space. And a friend of mine, not so much Spence, but he seems to think they're not going to do the cosmic turtle. I think they are, because within this movie, this doesn't spoil anything, don't worry. we're getting if you don't want to hear stop right now if you don't want to hear anything about it. But there is a scene where Bill goes into Georgie's room long after he's dead, and he's when he goes in the room, and there's on the nightstand is a Lego turtle that's put together there, and he picks it up, and he's looking at it, and then he hears the noise from downstairs, and it's where he encounters it in his basement. But he picks the turtle up and takes it with him, and it's almost like he's carrying like a turtle totem as like protection when he goes, like almost like subconsciously he knows the turtle is a symbol of good. And he takes it with him to the basement. But when he encounters it, he drops it and it shatters on the floor, almost like his connection to this benevolent force just shattered. So it's a very symbolic thing. And I think if they're going to spend that kind of time to focus in on this turtle thing, then there's got to be something to it in the next movie.
Yeah, well, your friend also thinks Lost is the greatest TV show that was ever created.
No, that's
moron.
not good show. That was a terrible show. But I didn't like Lost. I liked it for a while, and then it got silly for me.
What's really sad, though, is now, with it being, I mean, it was number one at the box office, it's making tons of money. They're going to do which I think doing just the kid part as one movie was good, and then doing the adults later on, as a second movie is a good way to go. But people online are going nuts now because people who have maybe never read the book, maybe they have, maybe they haven't, I don't know. But now they're calling out, Chief, you can tell me, because you saw the movie yesterday.
Yeah, I read the book, too.
The scene in the book where the kids have sex with each other in the sewer before they encounter it, was that in the movie?
No, not at all. They go swimming at a quarry in their underwear, and then that's the extent of it.
All right, so no sex involved.
No.
People apparently have gotten wind of that scene. Of course, we know that scene. We've read the book. We know that scene's in there.
This is nothing. The book, yeah, there's a real hardcore like orgy in the book, but I mean, in the movie, no, that doesn't happen at all.
Yeah, but people are blasting Stephen King for something he wrote frickin' 20, 30 years ago all over the place.
I looked at Stephen King's Twitter today, and he didn't even mention it, so it must not be too many important people bitching about it.
Of course not. It's the dinosaurs. It's the dinosaurs.
No, it's broke all box office records. It's like the highest grossing horror movie of all time or something now. And but no, I have to admit,
Jigsaw comes back in a month.
I saw the preview for that, by the way, while I was there. I think they did I have to eat my words a little bit because I thought it was just going to be absolutely ridiculous. And as well as when we saw the picture of the clown, I immediately didn't like the clown. And but I got to admit, I think the marketing was a big mistake for this movie. I think they fell down on the marketing, but I think the movie pulls it out, is able to pull it off. So I would recommend it at the very least to get it on digital or Blu-ray when it comes out. But it was pretty good. I actually really liked it. And the second one, but like I said, scary fear clown is easy to do. I mean, everybody's got scary fear clowns on their mind all the time now since the big clown scare last year and all that shit. But the scary clown part's not that hard to do. I think they effectively did it in the TV version. They a little more effectively did it in this one. But the second part, like I said, the second part's where the TV movie fell down, and that's where this will fall down if they don't pull it off. So I'm rooting for him because it's very promising, dude. I'd recommend seeing it. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's something you would go because you got kids and it's a lot of trouble for you guys to get out to the movies. But I mean, it's not something you guys would probably go out and see. But I mean, definitely.
I'm going to tell you the next movie I'll probably see, which I'll probably have to talk about on the show, is probably going to have to go see the My Little Pony the movie.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. But I mean, definitely when it's out and available to get, I would definitely.
It'll be one of those. It'll be like it'll be like Alien Covenant and things like that. It'll be kids go to bed, I sit down and I watch it type of thing. Or it's going to be Human Centipede 3. I'm in a dark room by myself watching it on my laptop where nobody can hear me, see me, or anything like that.
See, and you know me, I wouldn't bullshit you. I don't like to waste people's time. And if I didn't think it was worthy, I would say, if you're the type of person who likes to go to the movies, definitely go see it. If you like horror movies, this is a good horror movie. And but I would say definitely don't miss it. I mean, when it comes out on digital, download or whatever on demand, definitely watch it. It's worth it. But
I mean, shoot, I've watched some of the as anybody who's listened to this show for an extensive period of time knows, I've watched some of the most depraved fucking shit.
Oh yeah. Well, as a standalone movie, it's pretty good too. I mean, obviously there's a lot more to it.
And according to past guests of the show, Brad Jones, who he enjoyed it, and he said it was that movie was great. The other Stephen King adaptation